think in terms of the benefits of the SEC project, one of the biggest things that we've learnt is that universities can work in very new and important ways with communities, particularly communities that have previously had very little impact from universities in their localities.
What was really interesting for me was to collaborate with sociologists, members of the community, to kind of create, I don't know, a body of data, information, relationships. And I think it's that pulling together of different layers that's been really interesting.
We're trying to promote the heritage of the Isle of Sheppey because there's so much that hasn't been documented. It's evolved from being a kitchen showroom to being a heritage centre, a music hall and cinema. This area here is about Bluetown. In its heyday, 8,000 people lived here, and now we've got less than 100. Through the project, we're trying to work out the decline in the population, and one of the key points, of course, was the closure of the dockyard. And when the dockyard closed, a few years after that, the military barracks also closed. So in the space of 5 years, the reason for Bluetown to be here was taken away. We've discovered that the only place in the world where they did anchor trials was here in Sheerness Dockyard. So someone's made us a model. The aim is now to have a life-size model where schools can actually come and reenact how anchors are used. So this is Scylla. She's 200 years old and she's the figurehead from one of the 100 ships that were built at Sheerness Dockyard. The Victory was refitted at Sheerness. We had a military barracks and it was high security, and you had to have a passport to come onto the island and a permit to come into Sheppey. And this is an original, and we've now reproduced them, so we're now also passport control for the Isle of Sheppey. One of the things that we've also got into the Heritage Centre, this is where British aviation first kicked off. It was where the first recorded mile took place. The Wright brothers and the Short brothers actually came, and we had the first clubhouse, the first factories. British aviation. It's on the Isle of Sheppey. Also, the Dutch invaded us in 1667, and this is the only place on the mainland Britain that has been invaded by a foreign power. And they forgot about it, and they didn't hand it back until 1963. So we have all this quirky history here, from Vikings, Romans, Dutch, aviation. Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn had their honeymoon at Shurland Hall on the Isle of Sheppey. And yet we don't even have a brown sign as you come onto the island. Our building was actually bombed in the First World War, and people have brought in books and pictures. People didn't realise that it had been a music hall until someone brought in a picture of the music hall, and it kick-started all of this project. Our slogan now for the Heritage Centre is, "Did you know?" Did you know that this is where Nelson's body came in the barrel of brandy? It was into Bluetown. The cooperative movement started here, not in Rochdale as most people think. It started in Bluetown with fresh water. All of these things start people thinking about it. The fact that Dickens lived here. We're now part of the Dickens Trail. So we're trying to make people far more aware, and it's really galvanised them. And islanders bring their relatives and visitors to the centre, and they're quite proud to take them round and show off all the memorabilia.